y'all, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a different video for you all. I have been trying to post 2 videos a week. It's hard for me to post 2 videos a week, y'all, like, to be honest. Trying to find content for one, and number 2, it takes me so long to record a video. It's crazy. But I think I might have found a way for me to try to post 2 videos a week. So I'm going to see how this pans out. So I was on Crimson Cure's channel. She's a channel, YouTube channel I watch all the time, and she has a video on her YouTube channel called Comment Section. And I actually did something similar to that a while back when I was creating a YouTube short, and I created a YouTube short in response to a comment that was on one of my videos. And it was difficult for me to do an adequate response in just 1 minute. So I didn't do any more of those. But seeing how she actually made a video content on her YouTube channel responding to comments, I was like, okay, I might could see if I could try to incorporate that type of style or whatever onto my YouTube channel just to see how it goes. So I'm going to call this a Let's Chat Saturday. It's just going to be pretty much a chat over a comment that has been on my video, or somebody has commented on my video, a response to that comment, and just a chat about it. And the comments that I'm going to be sharing are going to be both comments that are in a disagreement with a video that I've posted, and also comments that have been in agreement with videos I've posted. So I'm going to share 2 comments per video. And if I feel like there's another one that I just feel like, I really want to share that one, then I will share that one as well. But I'm going to kind of stick with the one comment that kind of disagreed with what I had to say in whatever video I was showing, or agreeing with a video that I was showing. So let's get into this Let's Chat Saturday. So this first comment is over the video I just posted this past Tuesday, talking about the apology that Anthony O'Neal made and what he said about the African continent. So I'm going to pull up the comments that you can see and read it and whatever, and I'm going to read it for you guys. All right, so this is what it says. The last thing FBAs want to do is start Africa-splaining, because we all know that to a much larger extent, because there's more Africans there that they cannot live the way they want, because if they could, they wouldn't be trying to get out of Africa, with many never wanting to return. It's the truth. The other side of that is when Africans land here, thanks to FBAs pushing for that, Africans don't waste time trying to FBA slang. Many quickly adopt the false narratives whites society have programmed them with, that we all sell drugs and kill each other in the streets daily, and nobody's telling them to change that thinking, right? Case in point, don't pick what this brother said, then tear him down and make him apologize for speaking his mind, especially when most of what he's saying is correct. A day-to-day African would leap at the chance to come to the U.S. to live and accept just about any lifestyle they can to keep from having to return Africa, and we know it. We see it all the time. Quit playing with this. There's a challenge on TikTok that is talking about the conversations that Black people aren't ready to have. And when I read this comment, that is the first thing that popped into my head. The conversation I feel like Black people aren't ready to have is the conversation of accountability and responsibility. This entire comment that this guy posted just reeks of lack of accountability and a lack of responsibility. From the beginning, he talked about Africans wanting to leave Africa and go to the U.S., talking about how awful their home is, and that's why they want to leave. Then it segued into Africans having a white supremacist mindset and thinking that Black people kill each other and sell drugs, and who's telling them, nobody's saying nothing about that. And then that segued into Africans, again, don't want to stay in Africa. They want to leave and go to the U.S. And then the one little excerpt that he talked about Anthony O'Neal, he was talking about Anthony O'Neal speaking the truth, shouldn't have to apologize because He's just speaking the truth. Lack of accountability and responsibility. Anthony O'Neal apologized because he accepted the responsibility for what he said. He knew what he said was wrong. He knew that what he said was not true. And so he took accountability for that. He accepted the responsibility of what he said, and he apologized for that. He probably has quite a few followers from the African countries, and so he owed it to them to apologize. He took responsibility for what he said. He apologized and he moved on. But you have some Black people that don't want to take accountability for anything. Now he sat there, this commenter sat there and talking about Anthony was able to speak his mind about a comment about the African continent that he knows isn't true. But then in the second paragraph, he was over there faulting the people of Africa for thinking negative things, white supremacist things about Black people. So he's holding Africans accountable for having a white supremacist mindset of thinking that Black people kill each other and that Black people sell drugs. So he's holding them accountable for what they're saying. He wants somebody to hold them accountable for that because he said something like, oh, nobody's saying anything about that, right? So he wants people to hold them accountable. But then he turns around and feels like he can't hold Anthony O'Neal accountable. Why is that? Why is that? Why can't you hold Anthony O'Neal accountable for what he said? For the untruth that he said that was reaped in white supremacist mindset. Why is that not something that should be done? If you want people to hold the African people for the white supremacist mindset that they have, then the Black people should also be held accountable for the white supremacist mindset that they have as well. And that's exactly what Anthony O'Neal had, where he even got that comment, that idea from. It's a white supremacist perspective of what the African continent looks like. That's what they want the world to think that the African continent looks like and how African people are living. Accountability and responsibility, a conversation that some Black people don't want to have. And all through this comment, he never did take accountability and responsibility. He put everything on the Africans and what they ain't doing and what they doing, and talking about the reasons why they leaving the country, not taking into consideration that there are Black people up in America that's leaving America quick too. He don't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to talk about that. He'll probably have something negative to say about those Black people because they don't fit the narrative, and so he'll probably create something about that. But the truth is, people move and go to different countries everywhere, not just the African continent. But just the lack of accountability and responsibility for me is really, really what I was just like, that's a conversation Black people don't want to have. So the last comment that I'm going to respond to is a comment that was posted on the video of I Don't Identify as FBA. And this is what the comment says. You married an African also. God bless you for understanding. And I hope you do enjoy your stay in Africa. As for the ADOS and FBA, they are welcome in Africa anytime. We as Africans do not hate anyone. I think that was the video, I think. People think that I live in the African continent or that I'm living in Africa. Right now, I'm not. I will eventually. I did show that the house in Ghana is finished and we'll be moving there in the future. But right now, we're still overseas. Because we're still working. So we haven't moved just yet. As far as the response to me being married to a Ghanaian, I think a lot of people assume that because I'm married to a Ghanaian that my perception of, I don't know, African Americans, Black Americans or whatever is clouded. And that's the reason why I put the content that I put out and hold Black people accountable for what they do, is because I'm married to a Ghanaian. Like, me married to him has nothing to do with what I believe, the content that I put out or whatever. It's what I feel. This is what I feel. This is my experiences. My husband and I have had very passionate conversations about African Americans and African relationships. And we get into it. We get really into it because there is definitely can be a disconnect there. I might do a video on that. That's if my husband will want to sit in. He still said he's going to come and make a cameo. So we'll see to talk about it, because I think it's good for y'all to see, how does the relationship work? Because these issues will come up in our relationship. But me, being married to him has nothing to do with how I feel about things or the things that I decide to say. I've always had a very strong connection to the African culture. I won't say that I've had the desire all my life to go to Africa, and that's because of the negative stereotypical negative perception that the Western has put in our minds from the time we were in school. So I definitely had to reprogram that. And my husband did help me with that piece as far as, deprogramming this whole thinking that the African continent was what it wasn't. But as far as me having a relationship or feeling that connection to the African culture, it's always been there. And so he has nothing to do with that. As far as the ADOS and FBA and Africans saying, hey, you can definitely come to Africa. There are a lot of people in the African countries who are very accepting of African Americans. And I think that there are so many. I've seen a couple of, definitely quite a bit of social media content videos where I've seen people from African countries that's like, they don't know where the beef is coming from. They have no beef against African Americans. And if you want to come to Africa, you're more than welcome to come there. I mean, you have presidents from different African countries who have said African Americans are welcome to come to these countries to live and visit. And then you still have some African Americans who will swear up and down that Africans don't like African Americans. And a lot of times it's due to their negative experience with an African along their life, or due to them just watching too much social media. And I think that's the one thing that I hate that has happened in the day's time, is a lack of human interaction. We are so just fixated on interaction going on through this media screen that it's like you're just going to believe everything you see and hear. You're going to believe it. You're not even going to take into consideration that that's 1 in a million, or 1 in 1,000 or whatever. It's just like, if the social media says it, then it must be the gospel. And it's like everything on social media most of the time is really opinion based. It's really based on that person's experience and beliefs, and you really have to start thinking about your own and thinking about what you believe. So I'm glad that he said that. And even with him saying that, it's not going to make a difference in some African Americans' mind. They're still going to think Africans hate African Americans. And to them, I just say, you know what, do you. If that's what you want to think, fine, move on. We're going to move on. We're just going to move on. There's no use for trying to change minds of people who don't want their minds to be changed. So those are the comments that I'm going to chat about today, on this Let's Chat Saturday. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please add to this discussion on these 2 comments. And and I would love to hear what you have to say about them. All right, you all. I am Mazellegh. Thank you all for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.